Coming up on ParaTruth Reborn, we talk to Brian Byers about his conversations with ghosts in Savannah.
Welcome to ParaTruth.
How's it going, Paratruthers? Welcome to another episode of ParaTruth Reborn. We are live on 107.7 FM New Orleans, 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast, and United Public Radio Network. My name is Justin.
And I'm Eric.
And today, as the beginning stated, we're talking to Brian Byers about his new book, In Their Own Words, Spirits of Savannah. Brian, welcome back to ParaTruth Reborn.
Thank you, guys. It's good to see you guys again. Hopefully you guys are doing well.
We are.
Doing great.
I like that. Well, great is probably the better side of what you can be. So that's wonderful.
100%. So I think the biggest question, and we ask, everybody this, why write this type of book or write this book, period?
Well, I have a really great answer because there are.
Well, at least it's not the publisher made me do it. We hear that a lot.
This is definitely self-published. Well, there's a million Savannah Ghost books, and Jen and I, we own, we own the Mystic Apothecary in Savannah, Georgia, and we also own Savannah Psychics. We also own Savannah Ghost Tours, which those are the three businesses we have. And as we learned the tour years ago and developed it and made it be what we wanted to be, we started hearing all of these stories from other ghost tour companies coming through and going, is that right? Oh, that's odd. I can't find that. They're saying things and I can't find the information. And I'm a medium. So one day I'm in Wright Square and I'm like, hanging out, and I can feel different energy in there, and I'm picking up on one of the spirits, and I'm like, okay, I understand who this is. This is Richard Weiss. So I'm like, let me just talk to him. Hey, did you guys get really hung from this tree, man? I'm asking like straightforward, the punchline to the story. And he says no, and I'm like, wow, that's wild, because that's not what we've heard. I found out later it was a gallows. They actually were hung from a gallows, not a tree. So the trees in Savannah, they're really big and beautiful. And everyone says there's this one tree, they call it hanging tree. And everyone says they were hung there. Sure, a lot of people were hung in that square, but they were hung by gallows. And Richard was one of the first, if not the first. And he said, no, it was a gallows. He didn't like to really talk about it much, but we got a little conversation going. I started thinking, we're going to have to change some of the things we've learned. And it took me years, just sort of wandering around Savannah, can I get someone to talk to me? Can I get a voice? And I just started writing them down. And obviously, when a medium gets words, we're not getting a written document. That would be wonderful. That'd be amazing. So I had to discern what was being said and try to put it in their words the best I could. But that's why the book started, and I didn't realize it was going to be a book. I was really working on it for our tour guides, and it ended up being a book. So that's why I'm like, it's probably it is the only ghost book I know of where a medium is interpreting for the spirits, in a city. So, so it's their stories, just trying to get it straight.
Yeah. Now, what led you into spirit communication in general?
A lot of people get led. I woke up when I was born and oddly have always spoken with different spiritual beings. And, my mom figured it out early, when I'm like, a little kid. And it wasn't that I was led into it. It just, I didn't know what was wrong. No one ever said, oh, it's just your imagination. Go back to bed. My mom was always, well, tell me more. What are they saying? And I would just reveal more and more. And I think people started realizing, yeah, that can't, that's not just like a make-believe friend. They're actually really talking to someone and getting information. So, and Jen is like that too. My wife, we almost have the same story. We just were born a little different. I think everyone kind of is, but some of us are. Yeah, I always use the baseball analogy. You can start a baseball team. You can be born a pitcher, but not everyone's born a pitcher. Sometimes you have to train to learn how to be a pitcher. But Jen and I were born pitchers, and that's just, we've sort of done it our whole life, and no one's ever told us not to. So wasn't really led, but I think we were just not told not to. So we just do it. And I mean, Justin, I've known you for 25, 30 years. I don't know, man. It's been a long time.
It's been just, at least 20, close to when we started podcasting.
Yeah. Back before there was no podcast, and we invented, we were the first, man. We were the pioneers. But Justin even knew back then I was a little weird, and I just knew things,
Well, that's the nice thing about getting to know you, is not only have you become a very good friend, a brother, but also one of my best mentors. And, going through the spiritual awakening that I have gone through in the past 10 years, 15 years.
In 2 months.
Well, yeah, that too. It's been one of those things where I need somebody to talk to, because I can talk to my wife Shelly about it, but she has no clue about it. She doesn't understand it. I feel she is sensitive, but she doesn't want to open that door. And I'm like, that's fair enough, because if I wouldn't have opened that door, I probably would not want to either. So,
some people, they don't embrace it. They go, oh my God, that freaks me out, or it's a little weird, or is my life going to change if I step through the doorway? Yeah. And the answer is yes, your life will change.
Yeah, right.
But it's not so bad once you get over here,
Right. Yeah, you just got to get used to it.
Well, I think also a lot of people, at least as of the last, 10, 15 years, kind of based this idea of spirit communication and just mediumship off of like Hollywood, off of movies. And they think, oh, it's just going to blow up and my life's going to be like a mess and ruined. I'm going to not be able to turn it off, and it's like, it's not quite that way. It's not how it works.
You're right. I mean, Eric, you actually hit on something there. Hollywood has really destroyed the whole idea of what really is happening. Listen, I used to be a movie director and a TV producer. I love Hollywood. I love movies. I love stuff like that. But man, they take little tidbits that are good and then they ruin it. I think one of the better movies ever that shows a little bit of that is The Others. I think they did a great job in that movie. That's closer to reality, though it is a little dramatic. Sure. Their seance scene, that's legit, man. That is how that stuff flies. And it is, we've had a lot of those experiences here in Savannah. So, wow. Yeah.
Now, what makes Savannah different spiritually compared to other places?
It's just more better than other places. I'm not joking. Savannah is one of the only cities in the United States that is here I go. A necropolis. It's like there's been so many battles, so many deaths, and no place to put the bodies. So they just build this city on top of dead folk. Like they were digging up the road 2 years ago on Broughton Street, found 6 bodies, man. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have died here that never got a burial. Now, do I believe that when we die, we come back and haunt our gravesite? No. But I do believe there's a lot of unrest because of that. A lot of spirits that are they're not like, woo, they're more like, hey man, that sucks. You know, and I didn't see that coming. And battles are traumas. When people die from trauma, suicides and murders, they stick longer. I've noticed they come through just as easy as anyone else, but they're a little more amped, you know, they're a little more upset and going, that's not what I wanted. Undo, you know. So we have a lot of that here. We have the Pawnee, we have the Yamacraw that were here first. The Spanish, they came in, fought the Pawnee, pushed them away. Then we had, of course, you know, the English. Oglethorpe came over here to found Savannah in 1733 and brought a whole horde of Highlanders with them in Darien, just south of Savannah, thinking we were going to go to battle. And all these Scots came over with hammers and, you know, swords, ready to fight. And everyone was peaceful. So they just drank and ate and had kids, man. They just settled in. That's where our Scot-Irish come from. Our blood comes from that area. That's why Savannah has such a huge St. Patrick's Day, a big, huge. And a lot of the Irish here are their first slaves. People don't understand that. They're the first ones that came here. So Savannah has a lot of history. So does Europe. They've got even older history, but Savannah has a lot of history that they just decided to build a city on top of and not like bury anyone. So we have a lot of burial grounds underneath McDonald's. You know what I mean? It's like, it's weird.
Yeah. Why are my fries moving by themselves?
That's right. That's right. Who stole the nuggets? They're floating around in the back somewhere.
So if you think Ghostbusters, you think Savannah.
Oh, 100%, man. You know, they should have filmed it here and not New York. I'm just going to say that would have made way more sense, and it would have been a longer movie, maybe a trilogy, all that happened, you know, back to back. But.
Right.
Well, now, when it comes back to the book, like, when did you realize that the spirits weren't just present in Savannah and around you at this time, but were actually willing to talk? And did you have to nudge anyone in order to get conversations started?
Yes, I had to nudge a lot, and I actually utilized my guide, my spirit guide, and I call him Rabbit. A lot of people don't know about him, and I know that's a weird thing to say, but very spiritual, angelic, high order angel with a nickname. He looks nothing like a rabbit. Everyone wants to know, oh, Rabbit, how's he doing? He's not that. He's slightly intimidating and kind of a pain in the ass sometimes, but I had to utilize him to get words sometimes. So I had to do some things that are out of the ordinary. Most spirits love to talk. They want to come through, not men, but women. But the one I thought I'd get them the highest was one of our loudest stories in Savannah about Alice Riley, one of the very first Irish slaves that was hung. I thought I was going to get a lot of information from her. She hardly came through at all for me, probably because I'm a dude. And you got to be honest, people don't change a lot. You have to understand, you know, men hung her. She was, you know, raped by men. She was treated horrible by men, beaten by men. And so why would you want to talk to this dude with a beard who's saying, no, I'm a good guy? Of course that's not going to work. So I had to use her lover who came through, who was Richard. And so I got him to tell her story. So I had to do some tricks here to get the book written, but I did get what I think is closest to the story. There's even one, the Kehoe house, where there's these young twins that there's no historical evidence that they ever existed. People are saying it's a myth. Well, the twins are there. So I don't know whose they belong to, but they seem to think they did die. And I think they did die in a fireplace that collapsed on them. And it sounds horrible, but that myth came from somewhere. And I think there is truth to it, though there's no historical evidence, which, you know, I can't say this is a history book. I can say, according to the voices I heard, it's a history book. So, you know, I tried my best to get the story out, but I hate that I can't find some of this as historical evidence, any documents or anything about the twins. But there are certain stories that I go, oh, I thought that was a myth. Nope, it's true. But most of it is That's not true at all. That was a myth, but here's the truth.
Right.
So I wanted to start out with the conversations that you've had with just this gentleman right here.
Oh, so that's Herman Myers. He's a name that you won't hear in Savannah. Nobody really knows who he is anymore. Back in the early 1800s, everyone knew who he was. And so the story is weird. How this is the reason why I even thought this was going to turn into a book, is because of him. I had a local historian come through, and she wanted to get a medium reading. I think she wanted to talk to her grandmother. I really do. And a lot of times when you get a medium reading, you can't, pick up a phone and call the number of the person you want to talk to. It doesn't work like that. You can't conjure them. So there's always a lot of hope. I hope so-and-so comes through. I hope, and basically you get who you get and you don't throw a fit. That's the way it works. Like, I'll tell you in a minute, Justin. So she came in and we got interrupted by him, this guy. And I said, he's got an H name. It's like Harry or Herman or something. And her face was just, she went crazy with it. She goes, I don't know any Herman or Harry. And I said, he knows you and you've got something of his and he's excited for the world to see it. And she figured out she had this giant painting that she was having restored because somebody back in the early 1800s had taken a knife to it and slit the face open. And she was having it restored and she kind of forgot that she was doing that. And she's like, oh my God, that's Herman Myers. He's the old mayor of Savannah back in the early 1800s. He's the guy that after the Civil War rebuilt Savannah and made it prosperous. He built the city hall downtown with a big gold dome. This painting is hanging in the city hall in his old office, which the current mayor actually uses to hold council meetings and stuff. So it's crazy that he came through and was excited about the painting being restored so people could see his face again because he's a narcissist. And she didn't want her reading to be about him, but it really was a lot about him for the first 15 minutes. And then I had to tell him to kind of back off. But I thought that was so wild that he came through and wasn't even related to her. So later she had me come to City Hall and she showed me his big portrait, how it was fixed. You can still see the line where it was slit. So while I was in there, I got more information about who did it. And everyone thought it was a political thing. And it's in my book. It's the last chapter. It's the Herman Myers chapter. It was a lover. She was angry at him. He had a couple of people on the side. He was married, but he was also seeing a couple other ladies. And this one got really angry and slit his painting. So that's the person that did it. And he was just glad to have it back because, he loved himself. But, yeah, he did a lot for commerce here in Savannah, built Bull Street, made it what it is today, helped everyone get off their feet and get, tobacco stores and cigar stores going. He was a cigar connoisseur and a whiskey distiller. So he did a lot of that and made money off of that as well. But he's really the reason why I went, this has got to be a book, So once I got that down a little bit, I said, you know what, I'm just going to put it all together and let's just get it out there. And, if people want to read what they're saying about Savannah, you get to hear their story. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. It's like you're hearing history directly from the source of history.
Right. It makes me want to go to Jerusalem, man.
Right.
Right.
I'm like, let's go talk to some of the prophets. That would be awesome,
That'd be super awesome.
Yep.
Now, when it comes to, because I know you had just mentioned that you're kind of struggling with exactly who this guy was by name. You mentioned a couple names. She was like, is it? So how do you actually have these conversations? Do you hear these people audibly, intuitively, through tools? And how do you discern what it is they're saying if you're on sure.
Love it. You're right. And wonderful question. And I've been trying to work on how to describe this to people. And I think I've gotten it down now. I can even use Justin as an example right now, because there's a guy with him. So I've been talking with this guy behind Justin the whole time, this old guy. All right. Related to Justin. I know he starts with an N. Let me do it like this. He's letting me know he's an and a short word. So at one syllable, he'll go by a one syllable name. That's as far as I've gotten with him so far, but I know he's probably from Justin's dad's side of the family, so he's related.
That's my grandfather.
There you go. There you go. I don't have his name yet. I just know it's him. So the way it works, I wish I could hear, I wish I could see them, but I know they're around. And I go, oh, there's someone over there. So while I'm talking to you guys, believe it or not, I have gotten pretty good at talking to them at the same time and trying to get two conversations going. Not Ned. There's a K. Is it a Nick? You got a Nick or Nick?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. And my dad's name is Junior, Nicholas Junior.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's cool. Did your grandfather go by Nick? The short? Yep.
Usually, yeah.
Because he's comfortable with that. Yeah, he's fine with saying that to me, to you, so you know. But I don't know what he looks like. I know that he's got age on him. I know that he looks younger. He doesn't like the way he looked. So he's probably looking like he's in his 50s or 60s. He doesn't like the whole old look. So he's picky about the way he looks, man. So some people are. He's one of those, I want to look good. You know, I don't. Did you ever meet him? Did you know him? He seems to know you. So.
Yeah. I mean.
Oh, yeah. Knew him well.
We were close to our Grandpa Cancellara, yeah.
Yeah, he was the type who always wore a button-down shirt with slacks or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice dress pants.
He just wants to look good. You know, he doesn't want to look old, but he doesn't want to look sloppy. You know what I mean? So he's like, I look good. I like the way I look. Just let him know I look good now. So yeah, that was Grandpa. That's wild. Well, hanging out with you guys, and so that's how that works. Do I get to hear them or see them? No, but I'm asking them. You ever play the game where people write on your back? And and you try to guess what they're saying? It's a lot like that, but it's over here and not on your back. I wish it was on the back. It would be a lot easier. Yeah. Some people will try to write in cursive, and that's horrible. I'm just like, oh, okay, lots of loops. Right. If we're doing automatic writing where you let them move the pencil, Jen will know because she can read their sloppy scribble and make sense of it. So she's over my shoulder as I'm just letting it roll. And when they move that pencil around, which is really weird, a really weird experience. If it's not print, we're screwed. But luckily, Jen can go, that looks like cursive help. You know, say, that looks like this. And there's normally someone at the table in the seance that goes, I know who that is, you know, or they'll draw a picture, you know, that's actually cool. But that's the only time you ever get to see it is like an automatic writing. Other than that, I'm doing it out here and just trying to get the right sound. I will mix up G's and J's. And I will mix, if they're J's, and I'll mix up THs and Fs, I've noticed. Someone might say vish, and they're trying to say fish. And I'm like, is it a TH or an F? I can't tell. They feel the same. And I don't know how to explain how I hear it because I'm not hearing it. So, but it's a great question, Eric. I mean, that is, I hadn't really, it's just an odd thing. You get used to doing it over time. It's like throwing a baseball. You get used to pitching a fastball over a curveball. You just know the feeling and the way it tastes. I don't know. That sounds weird, but I know what the words taste like almost. So,
I mean, it makes complete sense. I can't tell you how many times I've been asked how I do something. It's like I try to explain it, and you can't. It's like I just do.
Yeah,
you know, it's just that simple.
Exactly. It's hard to describe it if you can't describe it. So you have to kind of feel it out. Yeah, he's definitely hangs out with you guys quite a bit. He must like the show.
Yeah. He's always one of our biggest supporters for sure, like in general in life.
Cool. He listens. He thinks it's great. So that's pretty cool, man. You guys are lucky.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's from his line that we both have gotten our sensitivity from. Uh,
Mhm.
so it doesn't surprise me that he's around. He actually came to me years ago when I was having difficulties with my ex-girlfriend. And he came, I was just distraught, and he's like, "It's gonna be okay, kiddo." When he said kiddo, I knew who it was.
That's wild. That's wonderful. That's when you know everything's fine.
Mm. Now, doing this book, were there any messages or stories that surprised you or even unsettled you at all?
Oh, that's a good question. Unsettled? No, I've explored Savannah quite a bit. Gotten to connect with a lot of spirits. Some of them I still don't know their names. We even have some upstairs in our apothecary that I even write about. There's a chapter on the Mystic Apothecary, 311 West Broughton Street. We had a fire up there, and there's some gentlemen that were sleeping up there and did not get out. The only way out, because we're on the third floor, is a ladder in the middle, which the fire blocked them off from the ladder, and they suffocated, and then they burned. I don't think that they had to experience the burn part. They seemed fine with the whole thing, but it's cool to get more information. One of the guys we know, he came through in a seance. His name is Moses. And very cool guy, very nice. He just sort of hangs out with Jen in the back a lot, which is pretty funny. But our friends, Chris and Megan, they own the Savannah Paranormal Museum down the street. When we first met them, we were just talking, and I told Chris that, we've got a guy that used to deliver grain and cotton from River Street, which is only 3 blocks away from us, up to Mystic Apothecary. His name is Moses. And Chris was like, what? Because he had an experience at Moon River, the brewery, with a guy named Moses that overwhelmed him. Same design. He said he looks just like the guy I was describing. He was freaked out because he's like, you must be real, because I experienced that also. So our Moses guy has been in and out of buildings all over Savannah, downtown, in that little block, 3 or 4 block area, delivering goods. Oh. So he feels very comfortable in our area. But it's cool to get that information from Chris, going, wow, you had the same guy. And even Megan, his wife, was like, I can't believe it, because she was with Chris during that and actually helped him, because Chris started to black out. Was not used to having that type of spiritual encounter. And so she helped him. But yeah, we had just met them. It was like the first day we met. So they were a little freaked out. That I'm like, your Moses lives upstairs from us, man. So, he's like, well, that'd be cool to meet him again, So I think he's cool now with wanting to do that. But
That's awesome. But now, so when you talk to so many different spirits, like, do you find a lot of reoccurring personalities or types of spirits even in the Savannah area?
In the Savannah area, there's not as many old spirits anymore. So, I can say the personalities don't change much. Like I can tell you, men don't like to talk much. If we get a guy that comes into a reading, I'm always going, oh, great, it's a guy. Even if the person wants a guy to come through, they're like, oh, a guy's coming through. I'm like, yes, there's a male energy here. I can feel them. They're excited, and I'm feeling disappointed, because men are like, they don't change a lot when they cross over. People don't change a lot when you cross over. If you're like, I don't like to share my feelings, or I don't like to talk much, I just like to pay attention and listen, which a lot of men, like 60% of men, are like that. So I know there's a high chance that they're not going to say a lot, and my client might be disappointed. However, women like to talk a lot more, and they like to share their details, and I get excited. Oh, we got a woman. This is great. So those styles of personalities all throughout Savannah don't change much. But I've noticed the older spirits don't come through as often as, and this is going to sound crazy, like celebrities that don't even live in Savannah that know I'm a medium show up. And we've had some weird moments, guys. Like the same day O.J. Simpson died, he came through in a seance where we didn't know he died that day. We had the same thing with the drummer from Foo Fighters. I mean, Jen and I are just trying to do our thing for a group of people that want to talk to their relatives in a seance setting. And in a seance setting, you're opening it up for everyone. So that's what I do when I'm just walking down the street. I just try to open up and feel, what can I feel? We get a lot of new folk that aren't even from here that go, oh, you're a medium. I want to deliver a message, and they do. They come through very loud and clear. But there's some people that just were in car accidents, and like in the 70s and 80s that come through there. It's just regular folk, but that's not a book people want to read about. Is a guy named Jeff Taylor, that used to work at Walgreens. A lot of people don't care about that as much as the history of Savannah. So that's why I knew that was a good point. If I could get enough spiritual interaction, I could build a book. There's still like 4 chapters I didn't add because I never got enough information. I got enough to say, there's a guy there in the cemetery. I don't know who it is. That's not a good chapter.
But is that something though that you might continue working on and then update the book? Okay.
Yes, do a second edition. If I can get some more information, I will totally feed it into that, and we'll do a second edition, definitely. But I'm not going to do a whole other book. I don't like to have volume 2. It's the same book, same concept. But yeah, if I get more information, that'd be great. There's still a couple I'm hoping I can get more info on.
Now, do spirits express unfinished business or something else entirely? Because the common thread that people think of is, and again, this is because of pop culture, that spirits are here because of unfinished business, quote unquote.
No, misnomer. That's not true. However, like today, had a medium reading. I know we don't divulge too much information, but a male did come through brazen with a lot of push for this one lady. And they were all 3 sisters sitting there today, and said, you need to tell him to get off his ass, stop wasting time, and stop being hypnotized by that junk, and move forward and just get out and be something. And the lady is laughing, and she goes, that is my dad. And that is, I know that's for my brother. I have to tell him because he's not doing anything with his life. And my dad hated that he played video games. So I'm like, he was, and that's all he said. And then it was like, check please. He was out. Like that was it. It was like Irish goodbye if I've ever seen one. There was like not a lot of, hey, I love you. But no, it was like, tell him to get off his butt and change. And, I'm like, she's like, oh my God, I know who that is. And I'm like, good, because that's the message. So is that unfinished business? No, that's just them being agitated that their family line is not being what they could be.
Right.
And he did throw in there, this thing is real. And I think he was talking about judgment. So I'm like, dude, that's a big statement.
That's a very big statement.
Because, I don't know. So I don't think, no, they don't stick around for that. They stick around, like some spirits. Imagine you're a farmer, okay? You work every day of your life on this farm, raising chickens and cattle and all that stuff. And you go to sleep one night and you don't wake up. Well, that's your farm. And those are your family that are still there, and they're struggling to run it. And so you're not going to go, well, tough luck. I'll see you. I'm on the other side. A lot of people go, well, what can I do? What can I do? Mm-hmm. This is my farm, man. I don't want to see it fall apart. I really worked hard. I like this place. I love my family. I feel bad that I'm not here to actually physically do it. So they'll stick around thinking they're trying to help. And there's not a lot they can do. But you ever feel like you don't want to get out of bed? I know you guys know, both of you know exactly what I'm talking about. I can know Eric is. I know Eric, I know Justin, I know you do, but I can tell you, Eric, some days getting out of bed, listen, brother, I feel it, man. When you are laying there going, I don't feel like it. I'm just not going to. I think I'm going to call in sick. And all of a sudden you get this push. It's almost like there's a weird whisper that says, look, just get up. Mm-hmm. Get up. I know you don't want to. I know you're not looking forward to it. Get in the shower. Brush your teeth. Do this. And then the next thing you're out and you're going, what got me up? What changed my mind? You got folk yelling at you going, no, sir, I'm not going to let you just lay around and feel bad. Get off your ass, get out there. And that's why they're here. And that's what you're hearing are people that have crossed over, pushing you out, making sure that you're the best you can be. They know that you're looking for fulfillment anyway. Your family knows. They're not omnipotent. They don't know everything about you, but they know enough that they can. You ever see Christmas Carol, the Ghost of Christmas Present?
Yeah.
They're in your house. They see what you're doing right now. They're going, like Mr. Nick over here, watching, going, I love this. This is great. He loves this stuff. I think it's awesome. They will not let you feel depressed. They will not let you feel melancholy. They don't want you to. And you'll fight it. I know Eric does. You'll fight it going, no, leave me alone. I don't want to get up. But you do. And when you do, you're glad you did, and that makes them smile. So that's not necessarily unfinished business. They just feel like they're helping, and they will encourage you and push you. And it's pretty awesome. There are other spiritual beings that do the opposite, but I don't want to get into that pretty much. That's kind of a weird whole other ball game. But because there are a lot of different beings that we don't even understand. Some of them are just not very cool.
Yeah. Well, now, so with all of the stories that you've heard and you've talked to these spirits about, was there any particular story that was just like emotionally affected you heavily?
Oh, wow. That's a heavy duty one. There might be one that's not even in my book. There's been quite a few that I feel bad about. And I will tell you, there's one actually, the story doesn't get told the right way. But it is definitely a younger girl that was enslaved here that was treated really, really bad. And I know you hear all the stories and we all think, oh, they're all treated bad. Well, they are. I mean, for the most part. And there's like 10% that actually got very lucky and were in a good family that cared. But servantry is abuse. And there's a lot of abuse that happens. And there's some things where girls have given birth after being raped, where the child is dead. And they have to watch that. They have to experience that child being taken away and being killed. And it makes them want to commit suicide, but they can't because no one lets them. So they have to live with this. And then they get pregnant again, and not by their doing. And then they have to know that child, while she's pregnant, is going to be murdered because they don't want that in their family. So there's stories like that, and they're all over, man. It's not just Savannah, they're all over. But when I get a story like that, it's moving. I've even had some very recent stories just from locals that come in that it's just not, it's unfair. It's just unfair. And so I'm a very sensitive person. I know I have to separate myself when I'm doing a reading, though my eyes will get all watery, and I'll try not to be. But there's a lot of stories here that are just rough. And I don't think no one will really ever understand unless you were in that person's shoes to understand exactly how bad that is. Yeah. We can say the story like the girl that just kept watching her children die, knowing that they're in her belly and they're going to die. It's like horrible. It's horrible. But saying it is one thing, experiencing it and feeling their feelings, which is another thing that happens when you're communicating with them. I'm discerning their feelings about things. So I can pick up on that. And a lot of times it's pretty emotional and I can get a little thrown off. It can ruin my day pretty much. But yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. But I think a lot of really good mediums would tell you the same thing. It's hard and you got to separate. You got to just separate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very empathic, so a lot of times it's very hard to understand what emotions are my own and what are somebody else's or a spirit's for that matter.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah. The last guest we had on, it was about tarot, and we were talking about, I always keep myself open, and that's not necessarily healthy, but I'm worried about missing something, so I don't want to turn it off. But then my sleep is disrupted because I don't. So
Yep, that'll mess with you right there. Yeah. Yeah, being empathic. My wife is so empathic that if someone isn't feeling well, she feels sick. It's just like, and they don't even have to tell her. She'll say, "Wow, my throat is hurting," and someone will go, "Well, I've got a sore throat. That's weird." Or it happens, and then they leave, and then she feels better. She's like, "Oh, that wasn't even me. I was feeling one of my kids."
yeah,
But it's pretty wild.
now there's always going to be those skeptics out there. How do you respond to skeptics who say that this is like imagined, subconscious? It's all in your head compared to those that are true believers.
Right. So for me, my favorite people for readings are newbies and skeptics. I love both. I build a database of things I can say while I'm sitting there with them, and I'm really trying to go for the impressive. So, and I'll tell you why. And let's just be honest. Even Eric and Justin, both you guys. Even though Justin, I know you're tied in, man. I know you are. You're a skeptic. We're all skeptics.
Yeah.
We're born this way.
I think when it comes to the paranormal, we kind of have to be to an extent.
Well, you should be. You should be. You should read into everything. You should question everything. The Bible says to do this. I mean, if you don't, then you're missing a lot of really wild stuff. So skeptics are great. We should be. I think that's beautiful. Closed-minded, that's a whole other ballgame. And so if you're going to be closed-minded, first off, why are you getting a reading with me? So you're going to test me? Well, that happens a lot. I've even had some people go, there's no way you know that. Like, it's impossible for you to know that. You must have Googled me or you must try to look me up. And I'm like, when? Just, my schedule, I'm blocked out from 9 to 9. I just got done doing my last reading at 9 o'clock and we came home and here I am. So I got no time to memorize. I can't memorize. I mean, and Justin, this, I have a bad memory. There's just no way. I forget, my keys. I forget things. I'm old now, and that's even worse. So, But I love skeptics because what I try to do when I'm doing a reading with them is build the database while we're connecting. Like even with you guys, Mr. Nick here. I got another thing of information from him earlier, and I'm just in case I need it, in case someone goes, how do you know that's Nick? You just said N. Well, and you said Ned, so I'm guessing one syllable names trying to make it go faster. I do know he's born in the first year of the year, which would be January. He's either born in January or he died in January. It's one of the two, but that's his birth year. And we're born into the world over here, and then we cross over, which is another birthday. So it could be both, but I know I got January out of them, which is the first year or first month of the year. So I'm constantly trying to build things. So if someone wants a little more information, I can say, well, their favorite color is this, or whatever information I can get from them that would be evidential. But really what it comes down to for me and skeptics, I love them. I think they're my favorite people because I like watching a skeptic go, damn, all right, that's wild. Coincidence. I love that. What a coincidence. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of coincidences. I think if we have too many coincidences, it's not a coincidence, right?
Right.
How many does it take to not be odd and coincidental? But I like them because they do push me to be sharper and to try and be a lot sharper. It's hard. Like Eric's a little harder to read. It's not that he's closed, he's private. He's very open, but he's very private. So I would know if you and I were to actually sit down and do a reading, I would do better job one-on-one with you wanting to be read,
Right.
But I do, I got the privacy fences on him. Justin, you're an open book. You always have been since day one. You're just like, here's me, here's my heart. You can hurt me. And people do. You're just like, ouch, that hurts. Why do I keep doing that? But I do like skeptics. I don't really have any kind of a rebuttal for them. I enjoy them. I like trying to hone me better for them. So I would say bring it on. Let's have a little skepticism and let's see if I can't get you something that would blow your mind.
Yeah.
I did that just yesterday with a reading, which was really just, I didn't even know. Actually, it was even before they even did the reading. They had just come up and I had said 5 things really quick to this guy before he went to the bathroom, and he went, "How do you know that?" And I didn't know what he was talking about until after the reading. He said, "Let me tell you what you said before we even did the reading, because it's this whole new thing." And it's pretty wild because I was like, dude, I wasn't even trying. I'm just saying stuff.
My favorite thing, like
skeptics,
yeah, no, skeptic. I love being skeptic, and it's like a lot of my friends who are into the paranormal, like, or even newbies into the paranormal, they're always mentioning stuff to me and bringing up questions, or they're saying, "Oh, I witnessed this and that," and then I just keep questioning them, and they get to a point and they're like, "I thought you believed this stuff." It's like, "Oh, I do."
You do.
Make sure what you're telling me.
But it's good to get all the information.
Yeah.
It's like, did you check this? Did you look at this?
Right.
Where was the camera really? And then, Justin knows that back in the day, the ghost hunters team, they would send me stuff to try and, because I was into After Effects. Oh, my battery's low. Wow. They would try and have me debunk it. So I would try and recreate it in After Effects and some other programs to see if I could mimic what that looked like. And I think it's healthy, very healthy to be a skeptic. Yeah.
But now, so what would you say to someone who is afraid to believe but wants to believe?
Who's afraid to believe but wants to believe? That's weird. That's a very interesting person. They would be afraid. I would need to know why they're fearful. Like, well, what are they afraid of? Is it their life changing? I mean, I would get that.
I think so. In my experience, from people that we've talked to, just throughout this whole podcast life of ours, I know we both encounter people who are interested, who like they want to believe, but they're afraid that if they do believe, then they open this door, and that door could lead to something very negative. It could lead to something. As again, it comes back to the whole.
Yeah, I would tell them negative is relative. I mean, you could walk out the door and get hit by a car, or you could get stabbed by somebody, or ICE might show up and throw you into some weird alligator prison. I don't know. There's negativity everywhere. The spiritual world is also like that. There is that, but is it everywhere? No. The majority of what happens here is not negative at all. And when it is negative, you can kind of feel it and see it and go, oh, I don't want to do that. So, I mean, we've had readings where we've had an unwanted spiritual being come through and start writing swear words. And we go, ooh, we got to close the circle and start again. Get them out of here, clean it, and say, we don't want that. We don't want foul language. We only want good folk. So, but you can kick them out, Yeah.
Now, what message or messages do spirits most want the living to hear, like in general?
First thing, always, I'm okay. That's like almost every time. Tell them I'm okay. I'm fine, because they're worried about them, because they're sad because they're gone. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing I notice a lot of is it's either I had no idea, but this is real. We're actually over here. We're actually okay. We keep going, you know. It's the excitement, you know, of this is a real thing, you know. People that were atheists that cross over going, holy crap, here we are. This is cool. It's normally very positive. The big one I get a lot of, especially if it's someone younger that crosses, is not to feel guilty. Don't feel bad. You know, let go of that because I don't care. It's fine, and I don't care about my stuff. It doesn't matter who has it. I don't care. I don't care about the farm. I don't care about the house. It's okay. Do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not there anymore. It's not mine. You can do whatever you want. A lot of that is the general upfront messages I get over and over and over. And they're almost like, to me, it's like, well, yeah, of course you're going to say I'm okay, you know, but that's what they want to say. They're really excited to say that. So I have to be understanding of the spirit that's wanting to relay the message because they're very sincere and excited. And I'm bored because I've done this for so long. So I might come across as very nonchalant. By the way, they're okay. And my client's crying and the spirit's excited. Tell them I'm really fine, not to cry. I don't want to see you cry. And I'm saying these things and they're like, wow, really? And I'm like, yeah, well, you're not acting all, I hear it every day. So I have to remember, I have to act surprised sometimes too. And I will, sometimes I'll pretend to go, oh my God, they're fine, you know, and it makes them feel better. I know that sounds terrible, but you do it every day and every day. It's the same story. So that's the message is I'm okay. Don't feel guilty. And I don't need my stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Why we took a break from the paranormal is because it's the same stuff every week.
It is. And you go, how do I make this different and exciting? Well, there are exciting elements that happen every day, but a lot of it is a repeat. You know, and you go, yeah, everyone's pretty much the same. Every person is pretty much the same. Even when we cross, we don't change a lot. But like the guy that came through today, he was really cold and direct, and they were like, well, he was a colonel in the army, and I'm like, oh well, okay, that makes sense. You know, tell him this, just get off his ass, and I'm like, okay. It's funny, you can feel it, and I like that because I go, well, that's a different message. That's a little abrasive. Okay, there's no love in that, but there is love. It's tough love,
Right.
So now you've been open spiritually since you were a kid. You'd always had these voices, these people talking to you, coming to you spiritually, right? How has your view on death shaped over your lifespan so far?
Oh, there's no death. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, even when I was younger, I'm cool with it. You know, it's like, I know that this is fine. So, but how do you tell everyone else that? You know, you can't. So everyone's scared when they die. And I've kind of been with people as they cross over. And it's amazing what they experience. You know, a lot of times they go, oh my God, so-and-so's here. And I'm like, there we go. You see them. Wonderful. I feel them. This is great. We're doing this together. And then 3 hours later, they stop breathing and they're happy. They, oh,
Uh-oh.
He's switching over, so we'll give him a minute.
Well, no need to give dead air here, I suppose. Sorry, guys.
What are some of your thoughts so far on this?
No, I mean, it makes sense. And again, it lines up with a lot of what we've learned over the years, talking to various individuals who are psychic mediums, who speak to spirits in general. But it's also a lot of what you've been talking about on your own spiritual journey as well. Just how, especially like the way that Brian describes how he receives messages, I think was actually very very well done, because that's something that a lot of people can't do, and I think he kind of hit the nail on the head in his explanation, because at least it made sense to me, you know. And I kind of get it too. Like, there's always those things that we do, or that we, you know, I guess that we do that just makes sense to us, or things that we understand that just make sense to us. But when we try to explain it to somebody else, it just doesn't work.
There he is.
Okay, so my battery died. So nice, right? Isn't that just? Actually, I should have said something even cooler.
Yep. Maybe he's not real. Maybe he's a spirit as well.
It's a glitch. We've been talking to someone else the whole time. He's just now calling in. He forgot it was at 11 or at 10. Thought it was 11.
Okay, so yeah, battery died. I should have said something cooler, like, yeah, the spirits were angry with me, and they. So where were we? I don't remember. Yeah.
How has the work changed how you feel about death, basically?
Oh yeah. So no, death. I'm okay with it. I know that this actually is better on the other side. My wife and I are kind of excited about what happens next. So yeah, I know that sounds weird to tell people, but that's real. That's authentic.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's better, in my opinion, it's better to have something like that to look forward to rather than fear it, like so many people do. Everyone nowadays is like, I gotta get this done, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta, have all these things aligned before that day happens. And in reality, it's
Right.
like there's so much more that happens beyond your life here in the physical realm.
Yeah.
100%. And I'll tell you, if I didn't have so many weird experiences, I might feel a little different. But
Mm.
um, either I'm crazy and accurate, or uh, there's life after death. You know what I mean? It's like that's the option. So it may be both. Maybe I am crazy, but it's funny. You can't really convince other people though that there is an afterlife.
Right.
Um, they have their beliefs. They have their reasons why they believe what they believe. A lot of people were damaged in church. Church has ruined a lot of people. But I think beyond that, everyone wants to believe.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I do my best to let them know, hey, you don't have to really sweat anymore about all that crap after this. We don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I've
Well,
been.
and if you're crazy, all three of us are crazy. So.
Right. I know. We're insane. It's you have a whole radio show dedicated to the insane. So.
Right.
Eric, what were you
No,
gonna
I was just gonna say, like, the whole idea of like I want to believe it always makes me think of that poster from the X Files. It's like,
100%.
to this day, for the last 20 years, I want to believe every single day of my life. And that's why we keep doing this too. It's like, even though we do believe, we want to know more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that whole poster sparked something for me a long time ago, because I know that those spiritual beings do exist. People
Mhm.
call them aliens or whatever. And I know that they're about to show off here in about a year or so. So that whole poster will mean a lot of stuff to a lot of people. It'll say,
Oh
I
yeah,
believe. It'll change. I believe now,
we'll
so
be seeing it everywhere.
yes, we will. Yeah.
Yeah, we had, or I had, Eric had to be gone, but Vincent Jenna on.
Oh, wow.
He had the same exact description of what you're saying, of what these aliens are. They are extraterrestrial in a sense, but have turned themselves into light beings that are coming back to show us.
And really, really, they're here right now.
Right.
Like, that's the way we're seeing it as a comeback. They're not traveling through space. They're here.
Right.
They're going to show off here shortly, and we're going to go, wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is about that time to let you go. So I want to give you a chance to tell everybody where they can find you and find your work.
Well, I tell everyone that to find us on social media, Savannah Psychics. That's the easiest way to find us. TikTok, Instagram, Substack, Facebook. Always Facebook. And people say it's for old folk. I don't know. We got a lot of young folks still on Facebook, so I don't know. But TikTok's I think the go-to. I would say hit us there. Um, Come to Savannah. We're at 311 West Broughton Street on the third floor. We're above Kendra Scott. Um, it's kind of a really unique shop. Jen makes a lot of wild folk magic type products, herbal remedies, a lot of other stuff. Blue Lotus oil. We sell. Herbs, tons of herbs, the really cool stuff that you can't find anywhere. As well as we do our readings, Savannah Psychics. That's where, if you want to book a reading with me, I do Zoom readings. So, savannahpsychics.com, you can book your reading with me. If you see me on this show, tell me or put it in the notes because I'd love to know, where you heard. And my book, in their own words, we're going to have that in the shop. I think that might be the only place we sell it to start with. We'll probably have a link online that you can purchase it as well. I will autograph a copy if you buy it, but you got to let me know ahead of time that you want me to do that, or I will forget. But yeah, come to Savannah, come to see me in person. And yeah, that's how we're doing that. I think I gave you all the information. Savannah Psychics everywhere. SavannahPsychics.com, Savannah Psychics TikTok, Instagram, the whole thing.
All right.
Right on.
And Mystic Apothecary. That's the apothecary side. So that would be .com and all the social media as well. So
All right, Brian, thank you so much for coming back on ParaTruth Reborn. I'm sure we'll probably have you on throughout the show. But I'm going to put you in limbo real quick and we'll close out the show and we'll get back with you.
perfect.
All right, folks. That is Brian Byers. Make sure you check out his book, In Their Own Words, Spirits of Savannah. As we said at the beginning, this has been a live show on 107.7 FM New Orleans, 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast, and United Public Radio Network. Until next week, folks, where you'll find us same time, same channel. My name is Justin.
I'm Eric. Peace.